here at the YouTube LA space in Los Angeles, California. And when I was planning this Los Angeles trip, I wanted to get the real knitting scene in LA. And I asked Facebook where I should go and who I should talk to, and Judy Graham's name came up several times. You might know Judy from her YouTube channel and her website, Knitting Tips by Judy. She has videos out, but the thing I'm really excited to talk to Judy about, and which really makes her a Los Angeles icon, is that she is who the movies and TV talk to when they want something hand knit, custom designed, or custom designed and knit for TV and movies. So she has some good stories to tell. Hi Judy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for asking me.
Yes, she drove all the way out here to the space so we could shoot outside here. Being from Texas, this is a real treat for me to be outside and not sweating in the summertime.
Right.
It's so different. So you have the YouTube, your YouTube channel and your website, but you've been in knitting business much longer than those two things, right?
Oh, absolutely. Before all the technology. I want to hear my story?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the name of your company is Topaz Knitwear.
Topaz Knitwear.
Okay.
But basically, I started knitting when I was 13 years old, many, many years ago, and I just always knitted. You know, got married, knitted. You know, had babies, knitted.
Lifelong knitter.
Lifelong knitter, and at one point, I was living in New York, but I moved to New England, where I opened a little craft store, where we sold supplies for weavers, glass beads, you know, pottery, all that. And I started experimenting with weaving yarns that were very thin and fine to see what I could come up with. And I have one to show you here.
Okay.
Of one of the very early knits.
This is knit, not woven though. Yes,
this is knit.
Wow, this is gorgeous.
And it's made with rayon boucle yarn on the, you know, finest.
How many years ago did you make this?
This is about 38 years old.
Okay, I'll tell you, this looks like something I'd see in Interweave Knits. It is high fashion right now.
Right, I know. Things, you know, come around, go
Yes.
around. Yeah.
How pretty.
Basically,
the stitches are so tiny.
The stitches are tiny. It's 2 pieces, increase for the little cap sleeve, and sewn together at the shoulder and the 2 side seams, and that was it. So then I moved to LA. And I met someone who was an actress, and she knew my knits and said, oh, you should bring them down to show them to the costume designer. So I had a little basket of maybe 6 or 7 knits. I don't call them sweaters, I call them knits.
Right.
And I went to the costume designer, and it was for a show called Rhoda. I don't know if you remember
I know
it.
Rhoda. Yes,
it was
Parker's smiling too, offset here. He knows Rhoda.
It's a spin-off from Mary Tyler Moore,
yes.
And Rhoda just wore outlandish,
yes,
you know, hippie
like
clothes,
things on her head,
and scarves and everything. So anyway, the costume designer said, "Great, I'll take them."
But did you bring them in there to give them to them, or
no?
You expected to leave with your knits, right?
No, I brought them in to sell.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
okay, okay.
yes,
and you took them.
And she took them.
Okay.
And said, "Oh, this is great. You know, I'll buy as many as you can make, as fast as you can make them." So, you know, there I go.
You were hand knitting?
I was hand knitting.
Okay.
And hand dyeing and, you know, doing the whole spiel. So eventually that costume designer introduced me to other costume designer who, you know, more and more, and I was considered the sweater lady.
The sweater lady.
You can't do this anymore, but I would go to the studio, take out a big black garbage bag, and just go from one stage to another and say, do you want this? And, you know, and then people would say, well, I like this, but I need it 2 inches longer or 2 inches shorter.
Okay.
And
you were talking with the costume people?
I was talking with the costume people, and, you know, can you make it in yellow instead of blue? And, you know, little changes, so yes, yes, yes. So it was getting beyond what I could do by hand.
Right.
So I put an ad in the paper. This was before Craigslist or Facebook or anything.
And the newspaper.
Newspaper, remember newspapers? So looking for knitters. And everyone that answered my ad was a machine knitter, and I had never heard of a machine knit.
Right.
I mean, knitting to me was this,
yes.
You know? So I started interviewing people and eventually hired people that could transpose my hand knits.
They can actually take the patterns that you write and put them into machine knitting?
No, they would take the actual sweater, you know, and copy it.
Okay.
Yeah, without my writing, because patterns are totally different on
Right,
for
they
hand
would
and
be.
machine. So I've never learned how to use the knitting machine.
You haven't?
In
I don't
all
know how to
these
use it
years.
either.
No,
No.
it's beyond me. I mean, it's like you do this.
So this is really interesting. You to this day use machine knitters,
Yes.
but you don't do the machine knitting yourself.
Correct.
You hand knit the sample.
Sometimes I knit a sample. Sometimes I just get a picture, a drawing. The drawing can be on a back of a Post-it, or it can be really big. I'll show you.
Well, let's talk. Yeah, let's show some other knits.
yeah.
Wait, will you show this one? Because this.
All right.
Because this, when people here at the YouTube space have been asking me about the interview I have today, I say her name is Judy, and I give a little thing, and then all I say is Freddy Krueger sweater, and everyone's, oh, that's who you're talking about.
Well, this is all I have left of the
This
original.
is enough because, yes, this is enough. We recognize this, and we're all scared.
It's really funny because I had no idea who Freddy Krueger was or the whole.
Well, it was
cult
you had to
thing.
make a sweater before his first movie.
Well,
didn't
no,
you?
actually, there was a first movie. I thought I made the sweater for the first movie,
Okay.
but I found out from all these fanatics that are out there
Oh, yeah.
that I did not.
Yeah.
The first movie did not have stripes on the sleeve. This is
That's
you
a
know,
sleeve.
This is a sleeve. So from the
Wow.
second one on, and this was made out of acrylic yarn, which is, I mean, the company's been out of business forever, but after this first one, they switched to wool because it had to burn and
Right.
tear and
Right. Oh, we
do
all know
that.
what
You all
happens
know.
to Freddy Krueger in the movies. Yeah.
So the last movie, they actually changed the colors.
Oh.
And I'm going to show you something. This is what I got. I'm going to take it out of the plastic. I think you can see it better.
Okay.
Can you see that? Good. So they wanted it darker and deeper and creepier. And so they came up with these colors,
Okay.
which are just totally different.
Well, when was this last movie?
About 4 years ago.
Okay, because as a teenager, I remember these being the creepy colors.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so this was the first time it had changed in all these years. Even when, this acrylic was not being used, it was always bright red and olive green.
Right.
So that's my Freddy.
But do you know, somebody, when I asked on Facebook and people were suggesting that I talk to you and there was a little Freddy Krueger discussion, someone said that they made a happy little Christmas stocking, and when they finished knitting it, they're like, oh no, that was just like Freddy. So you weren't as happy with it in the end.
I do get emails often saying, can you make me a Freddy Krueger sweater? And I always say, no, I can't because I don't own the franchise.
Right.
But I can make you a red and green sweater, or
Okay.
you can make yourself a red
That's
and green
what I tell
sweater.
people. I'll teach you to make it,
Yeah.
but I won't make it for you.
Yeah.
So you had to make a lot of these.
Oh my gosh, the last one, this one, I think there were 68.
68? Okay, I've read your whole website. I have not heard that number. Okay. Because, well, even in the pictures you see Freddy Krueger, it's shredded.
torn and shredded.
So you hand over these beautiful sweaters,
Beautiful.
and then all 68 of them are torn to bits
Yeah.
and a mess.
Yeah.
Well, that is exciting. What
Yeah.
a thing to have on your resume, because
Yeah.
everyone knows this. Wow.
Barbra Streisand, this was probably one of the biggest thrills of my life. She was working on a movie and I was making some knits for the movie, and the costume designer said, she has this idea, she wants to do a little concert in her home. Very casual, she just wants a skirt and like a turtleneck top. No big deal. So would you like to do it? And I said, yes, of course. I met with Barbra. Now, I usually do not meet with the actors or the actresses because I don't want to get involved with what I call minutia of it all.
Right.
But I did meet with Barbra, and she said, yes, I just want like a turtleneck top and a long skirt with a slit up the side. And I'd like for it to be silk. Okay, fine. So I found this beautiful silk and wool yarn, and I made this outfit.
Okay.
Which
Oh, nice.
it turned out.
Which camera should we show this to so we get this clearly? Okay. Look at that. I know this album cover.
Yeah, and it was on billboards, and it was on the CD, and in the magazines and everything.
You can see this. I recognize this. That is great and beautiful, and such a lovely drape on that silk.
Yeah, beautiful,
sure.
beautiful.
Wow,
So,
and this picture that you've been holding up is actually an autographed Dear Judy picture. And you went, and there's more of this story.
yeah, so my husband and I were invited to the dress rehearsal, and we had to go to a secret place and get on a bus and be taken, winding roads so that we wouldn't know where we were going. And when we got on the bus, the costume designer said, by the way, 2 other people have made outfits for her, so we don't really know what she's going to wear.
Oh.
So I said, okay. So we get to her house.
Yeah.
And it's like an amphitheater in the backyard,
Right.
And it was very casual, but it was rather large,
Right.
And anyway, it's going to start, and the smoke machine starts, and the curtain opens.
That's kind of a fancy house. I don't have a smoke machine at my house.
No, I used to have one, but I got rid of it.
Right.
But anyway, the curtain opened, and I saw one leg came out,
Right.
and then I saw white, and it was, in fact, the outfit.
The outfit. Wow, and that slit on that leg. That is
Yeah.
great.
And so after that, she became my best friend, and she wanted this outfit in every color. We switched to cotton because she wanted, every color, and she wanted one for
How
her
exciting.
New York house and one for her LA house, and it was like many, many, many. But then she found a new best friend, and her name was Donna Karen.
Oh,
have you ever heard that
no,
name?
Donna Karen.
She made sweaters also. So it was bye-bye, Judy.
Well, here we are in Los Angeles dropping names. Look at this. Okay.
Right. So that's my Barbra Streisand story.
Wow, that is great. That's something.
That's what I was given for Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump striped socks.
Yes. Which,
Yes.
was on the cover, the billboard, the everything of his little socks, and of course I got a little more information. They wanted stripes, Fair Isle, red, blue, whatever colors.
Wait, so it was several pairs of socks?
It was several pairs of socks,
Okay.
but only one made it to the screen.
But it's also in the movie
It's on
poster.
the poster, yeah.
Were those hand knit?
Those were not hand knit.
Okay.
No, they weren't,
Okay.
because they couldn't be, because they, again, needed multiples and fast and quick. And
Right.
I think somewhere I have a picture of the socks, but I'd have to.
Well, anybody can right now Google Forrest Gump
Yeah.
and look at the movie poster, and he's
Right.
sitting there in a cream color suit.
I think so, yeah, and a plaid shirt.
Yes.
And I also made some other things for that film. I made Sally Field's bed jacket that she wore when she was
Right.
dying, and that was beautiful pink Angora.
Nice.
And a couple of sweaters, and that was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. Well,
So,
if you ever get bored, you can always list this on eBay and see how much this little piece of cardboard is worth.
you're probably right. Here's another autograph picture that I have of Chevy Chase.
And what movie is this?
This was for Vacation,
Right. Okay.
and it was this.
He's such a dad in that movie.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a black and white picture, and it's a hip-length cardigan.
It's a tweed, shawl collar, basic, old man's bookstore kind of, and it says to Judy, "How about the turkey in the
I
sweater?"
get it now. The turkey in the sweater because he's
'Cause
carving
he's
a
carving
turkey.
the turkey. So that's one of my fun mementos.
Yes, that's very cool. Okay, hopefully you can see that well.
A photographer came to my house
Oh!
and was there for 3 hours trying to find the perfect shot. And finally, I took the knitting needles and I stabbed them through my head. I said,
you were so
"Get
frustrated."
out of here already!"
It says mother of pearl, pearl being spelled with the knitting way. Celebs go nuts over Judy Graham's knits. And let me show this picture here.
That's before my hair turned white.
You had bright red hair.
Yeah.
That is great. And then there's a picture of, well, this is really small to see, but it's from the TV show Friends. Tell us about that.
I made a lot of things for Friends. Just every week they would buy something new. It was for all the different characters. It was great.
Were
really
they
fun.
telling you what they wanted, or were you just making
I
things?
was at that point. I was making things, my own designs, and that's when schlepping them to the studios
Okay.
and saying, And then, like I said before, they would say, well, it's nice, but I'd like it in red,
Right.
or, you know. So Courtney Cox only wears red, and Phoebe only wears earth tones, and, you know.
Wow.
So it was like that. And then a couple of more pictures of
We have Whoopi Goldberg here in.
Burglar, I think was the name of the movie.
Okay.
And of course, Freddie.
And Waterworld.
Waterworld, yes.
Okay, you're going to show us some stuff from Do you have things from Waterworld?
I actually.
It's going to be hard to see these pictures on
I know,
camera.
yeah.
Oh, and the husband and the dog.
And the husband and the dog. This is not from Waterworld, but it's from the same designer that did Waterworld.
This makes you think Waterworld, the
I
colors.
know, and this is the drawing that I got with a little note on the bottom. Can you do this?
Can you do this? Well, they gave you a nice drawing. It's
This
better
was
than a
really,
Post-it note.
really nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And they wanted it very thin and very sexy, and so I used,
Do you know what movie this was for?
this was for The Postman.
The Postman.
You probably don't even remember it. It came
I
and it
remember an
went.
Italian movie called Il Postino.
No, this was with Kevin Costner. And
I'm waiting to see if Parker nods about the Postman. Okay, let's.
but
show
it's
this
a
to the
little dress. I don't have many things left
Wow.
over, but I made it.
This is such tiny stitches.
And, yeah,
too.
and this is actually the same yarn that my scarf is made out of.
Okay.
Which is
a thread.
like this.
Yeah.
But this is knit very tight, you know, on the tightest tension that the machine can get. This is, of course, knit very loose.
loosely,
Yeah,
right.
Right. So
That's
yeah.
great.
interesting.
So this is. Did you have to make more than one of these? or this
Yes,
is one that
many
you
more.
kept?
And then I thought, oh, these are gorgeous. These should sell in stores. You know,
Yeah.
they're beautiful. But, you know, it didn't.
And then you were probably on to the next thing
On
already.
to the next
anyway.
thing, yeah. You know, I did have a line that I did sell in stores for a couple of years, but it was before the Gap and all that, when people were willing to spend a lot of money for hand knit or handmade sweaters.
Oh,
hand
people
loom.
are still willing
Still,
to.
but
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. You need the name, and I didn't have the name at that time. This was a long time ago, and I just said, well, I've got enough going on.
Well,
So,
this trunk of exciting stuff tells me that you had a lot going on.
yeah. Let's see.
I can see in the trunk to see what's coming up.
I brought this for no other reason than to say it was touched by George Clooney.
Oh, can I touch it too? Can I take this home, put it under my pillow? Touched by George Clooney and Stacey Perry. Wow,
Yeah.
that was funny that you brought that.
I know, I
Judy.
just thought, well, you know.
Were you making a sweater for him?
It was actually a scarf. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Yeah.
now I've had my brush with greatness.
Right, there you go. This was for How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay.
Lots and lots of hats, which
Well,
I made
yes, of course.
all by hand
Yeah.
because they could be as crazy as they wanted. They didn't want any duplicates. They just wanted them all to be, you know, Christmassy but different.
Right.
So, can we see that? Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I recognize. Well, I can picture in my head that movie and the
Yeah.
hand knits because it's Christmas time. It's cold.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
This is kind of funny.
Yes.
This was for a commercial. I was asked to make a sweater for a beer can.
Okay, what was the story that there was a sweater on a beer can?
I have no idea.
Did you see the commercial?
No. No.
Really?
No.
Wouldn't you? I would have gone to
Yeah.
great lengths to see
Yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah, like, okay, whatever you want.
Yes. Did you have to make like 800 of them?
No, it's just one.
One sweater for one
sweater
beer
for
can.
one beer can.
Tell us about this one.
That was for a British airline commercial, and the idea behind it was that they're always on time, but no other airline is. And so there was a woman on board that had a bag of yarn, and she taught everybody how to knit. And they had to wait so long
Before they took off.
that everyone made, something, a hat, a scarf, mittens, whatever.
So at the beginning, everyone had nothing.
Nothing.
They had to wait so long, all using the same yarn.
Yes.
That there's a ton of all these things in the same color. But at
Right.
least they traded yarn, so they had stripes.
Stripes,
At least.
yes, right. So,
That's funny.
So it was really, you can't see here, but
That's
lots
great.
of different things.
That's great. Okay.
So let's see. This is for the movie Mouse Hunt. And the premise was that he gets his suit tangled in the machine and it all comes apart. So it was a suit, a vest, and a tie that were all knitted. And as you know, when you knit, you start at the bottom up and it unravels from the top. But no, no, no.
You had to knit top
Knit
down.
top down.
Let me show this picture.
It really looked like a suit that was off a rack from a store. I was so proud of that.
Yeah, in knit. It does.
Yeah.
And so it all came apart?
It all came apart, you know,
That's great.
and that was really fun to watch.
Christmas sweaters.
This was for Hot in Cleveland, and they were doing a campaign, and they called me and they said, we need some ho-ho-ho sweaters. And
all the ho-ho-hos completely perfectly line up with the three differently.
that was the problem. They're all different heights.
Yes, yes, I know this show.
But the ho-ho-ho had to all be, you know, lined up. This was for an ad campaign. It was on a billboard. It wasn't in the show. The only one I did not make was Betty's, the blue one.
Yeah,
they found that
one,
somewhere.
Yes, I can see that. But this is all custom. The
So-
snowflakes are in different
Yeah.
spots, and
This was kind of where I started. I didn't use, I had some old yarn that I just wanted to use to see how it would work.
oh, that's great.
And just made lots of different variations.
Yes, I can see that you have the hoe.
The hoe. And the hoe.
Yes, the hoe. And then you have the different snowflake patterns that you used in the sweaters
Right.
actually here in
Right.
this piece.
So some of them had it across the top, some across the bottom. You know, they all had to be
Gosh,
different.
this is so
but
beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
It really is.
It's amazing what can be done on a knitting machine. I
Right.
have to say. So there was a lot of anxiety over this with the, you know, the sizes and everything, but
how much time did you have to make these three
I actually had a
sweaters?
month, which was amazing.
But that's amazing.
But of course, they changed their mind every 2 days. You know, it's like, oh, I don't want anything on the sleeve. Oh, yes, I do want something on the sleeve. Oh,
Okay.
you know, like
well,
that.
yes, there are things on the sleeves in
Yeah.
these pictures. Yes.
Yeah. This little sweater that looks like it's made for a child
How pretty.
is made for an actress. Now, I'm not supposed to talk about the shows that I'm doing until they've been done, but I can only say that it's on the highest rated show on CBS, and the character's name is Bernadette.
I know exactly what she's talking about.
And the story behind
She's a
this,
tiny
she
actress.
is tiny. Look at this, how tiny.
Yes.
And
okay.
I mean, it doesn't even, it's not tight on her or anything. It's
Wow.
just, so the story behind this was they came to me last year and they said, we have an actress who has a sweater. We got it at Bloomingdale's. It was a special Bloomingdale's only, and we haven't been able to find any more. She loves this sweater. Do you think that you could copy it? We've tried other people. We've gotten so many other things. Nothing has worked. I said, well, I'll give it a try, but I've never used this kind of stretchy yarn. So made one after, you know, searching everywhere for the perfect yarn, made one, and they said, well, don't get too excited, you know, it probably won't work. But anyway.
Because it hadn't worked so
It
many
hadn't
times.
worked so many times, but they called me and they said, she likes it.
Oh!
And we want to get some more. Could you give me the color card, you know, so we can make a few more choices? So I did, and they chose several colors, which if you watch that show, you'll see she's in
I won't
one
miss it now.
every week. And now this is a new season, and they've chosen more colors, and we're on.
Is this one of the sweaters that you're sending on to her?
Yes, this
okay.
is for her. She will get this next week. This is the little picture that I got. for
This is somebody gave this to you.
Yes, and they wanted me to make this hat, and it's for a custom costume company that makes things for parades and cartoons like Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse kind of thing, where all the characters have large heads and small bodies.
Okay.
So I thought, oh, cute little hat.
Cute
Well-
little hat. Wait,
well,
there's part of it's missing.
Part of it's missing, but they gave me this form. I haven't delivered it yet, so it hasn't been totally put together. I don't want, if I pull this, it will go in, but
right.
So this is this cute little hat.
This tiny, cute little cartoon hat.
Yes.
Crazy.
I've made a lot of things for this company. They've done parades for Despicable Me and they wear a lot of knits in that movie. Did you have any questions?
Questions? I'm too flabbergasted to ask questions. No, really what I want to talk about is, you and I have been talking several times over the past few weeks, and Judy has not only her Knitting Tips by Judy YouTube channel, you also have a video blog.
I have a video blog.
This morning I saw your video blog post about
the sweater that didn't work out.
Yeah, you had a swatch of it. It was working.
Yeah.
Because of the industry that you're in, working with the knits and the costumers and everything like that, you are, something's on, something's off, something has stripes, something doesn't, something has a snowflake, it doesn't.
Right.
We're making it, we're not doing it.
Right.
The actress gained weight, whatever.
Yeah, you want my job? You know how it works.
I'm busy. Just from reading your website and listening, your video blog is so good that way because we're both in the same big umbrella industry.
Right.
You are doing something very, very different with all this, and hearing about what it's like for you is great.
It's really interesting, and I just fell into it. I mean, you just never know.
This was the one, you had the friend who knew the person working on the costumes who made an introduction.
Right, and it just mushroomed.
Wow.
Yeah, and I tried to retire. I thought I was retiring 10 years ago, but that didn't work.
The phone kept ringing.
The phone kept ringing, and now I'm in the position where I can say yes or no. Depending if I want to go on vacation, I say no.
Right.
But it's just fun and exciting and different and keeping me going.
Well, yes, and you're clearly very good at what you do, so that makes you feel good about doing it too, I'm sure.
Yeah. I thank you.
First.
Yes.
Yes, you can nod. You're good at this. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I just instinctively know when I'm talking to them what yarn should be used, what tension should be used. Should it be thick? Should it be,
Well, did you say that you've been knitting how many years?
60.
Okay. I hardly ever meet anyone who's been knitting longer than I have. You've been knitting
I'm
longer
older than you.
Yes, I'll catch up to you.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't stop knitting.
No,
do you?
you can't stop knitting.
No. I mean, it's just sort of what you do all the time.
Right.
Always working on something or other.
Right.
And learning all the time. I mean, when I started my website, I thought I knew a lot, but then people would write to me and ask me questions about a certain stitch. Or I said, what is that?
Is that when you started doing the instruction videos?
That's when I started, yeah. Well, when I heard about YouTube and...
Right. Okay, Judy, well, I've had a lot of fun talking with you today. Thank you for coming out here. I'm going to give everybody links to your website and your YouTube channel in the video description field just below the video, so you can find Judy and keep up on what projects she's doing for Hollywood.
Great.
Yeah, because you always have something going, right?
Always seem to have something going. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for asking me. It was fun.
Good. Look at all of this. I'm the only one who gets to see this.
Right.
Yeah.
There's Tom
there's
Hanks.
Tom Hanks in his socks. Oh, and the bed jacket.
And the jacket, right. And then this was a poncho when his girlfriend...
Jenny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
This was early on. This was just the sleeves.
Just the sleeves of this dress.
And then this was just the apron.
Wow.
We're going back in time.
We are.
We're
back to 1993 right now.
Yeah. I don't even remember these things.
Oh, why is this sweater so big?
Oh, why is this sweater so big? In one of the movies in the 80s, Freddie blew up.
Worn by everyone standing there.
Right, it was like 10 feet wide this way and 6 feet this way. And these were my first crew that I ever had on here.
It's as big as Seaming Together Afghans.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
and
bigger than
let's
Afghans.
Look at the rest of this because I want you to tell me about what this is, like the thing for blowing it up or something?
Well, this was it on the form.
Uh-huh.
And it was me standing there to show the size to the person that's working on it at the costume house.
Golden Girls? Hold on, what do you got from there? Oh, there's that.
There's that. Oh, I just made
sweaters,
tons of stuff for them.
Okay.
This was the first movie I ever made
I just
anything
watched
for.
this recently.
Really?
Uh-huh. Like, I think I saw it as a very young adult, and then I just watched it again recently. It kind of made more sense to me. 8 friends searching for
This
something
was
they
the
love.
sweater that I made there for Mary Beth.
Okay, the blue one. Wow.
It was a rayon boucle
Yeah.
drapey.
Wow. Okay.
These are just,
Did you make these?
yeah,
Okay.
this one, this
Okay, now we're jumping even further back in
Dynasty.
time. Dynasty.
We are going back.
Yes, you've been doing this for a while.
This was Valerie
Oh,
Harper in chapter
right.
2. This was me modeling it in my
Okay.
much younger days. I don't know why we're going back this
Well,
far.
because I wanted to see it
But-
because I was.
This is George Clooney's sizes. I have this thing about George Clooney.
Hey, I do too. That means that you are an American woman with a pulse.
5'11".
Is he only 5'11"?
Yeah. This is your life. This is what I feel like today, going through all this old stuff.
This is so fun.